How about just like right here? It's relatively better. This thing is really annoying. Nope. Sorry, guys. We're stress testing live here. Maybe if I just face it. There you go. That looks pretty good. You can kind of see B12 is a lie, not vegan, and it hurts animals, right? We wanted that up tonight. What's going on? Good afternoon. How are you? Nice to see you. It's Grim. How are you? Yeah, we're just starting out tonight. This is going to be a good one tonight. One I think we've all been waiting for. Oh, Nora said hi. Hi. Hello, Nora. All right. Yeah. So, what's going on, Dominion? Nice to see you. I'm on time tonight. I've got all my E's right. Right? Ooh, no, I double checked. Yeah, my E's are right tonight. Last week that I kind of concocted that very fast and didn't check it. So it went up, and then all of a sudden I got stuff upside down. No one understands that I'm writing backwards here. But and I did not check in the mirror last week either. So that was also a contributing, compounding negative. Oh, I thought you said hello, America. Ahimsa here too. What's going on? And also hello, America. I'm excited tonight for tonight's fake B12 Friday. Alex and Plushies is here too. Alex, nice to see you tonight. Tonight, guys, it's going to be a great one because tonight we're on chapter 18. And this is where we get to help the viewer, the watcher, see and learn how the whole B12 in the soil and B12 in the pill things got conflated. And we're going to dig deep into that one. No pun intended. No pun intended. Alex and Plushy says subscribe. Thank you. Yes, everybody subscribe. I'm on a mission to double my subscribers this year. And yes, B12 free, Grim. Grim, I hope you're B12 free. That's great. Everybody needs to be B12 free because what's it say up top? It's a lie. B12 is a lie. It is an absolute lie that's built out to weaken the vegan diet and to make money. That thing is making money, 600 mil a year. These B12 peddlers, and we're going to get into who's benefiting off the pill tonight. We're getting into that chapter 19. We're going to do chapters 18 and 19 tonight, guys. But let's talk about let's touch on B12 is a lie. Let's touch on that first. Now, I had to read the book twice. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard yet. I mean, you're kind of late to the party if you haven't heard yet, but the big book is The Enigma of Vitamin B12, Nature's Only Mistake, written by Anthea V. Hayes. Get the book. Get the Kindle. Get the paperback. I like the paperback because I can read all over it, highlight all over it, write all over it. It's awesome. Definitely one of the best books in my vegan book library, including The World Peace Diet, Mad Cowboy, What a Fish Knows. We've got all those vegan doctor books out of there. Instructions to Burn. We don't listen to people that are peddling material science and enterprise. We listen to vegans, actual truth seekers. So that's what's in our library. But get the book. And yeah, I had to read this book twice. Let me tell you why, everybody. How strong they've built out this lie is more formidable than you can even imagine. The inertia they've built out that will create a resistance within you will surprise you. It'll surprise you. It surprised me. Like I literally read the book once and I knew from the first read I could vibe and sense the lie, the deceit, the manipulation. But after the second time reading it, things really crystallized. And once again, no pun intended with that one. But things really crystallized. I saw much clearer. And I still after reading the book the first time, I would tell people, guys, B12 is in the soil. It's in the cyanobacteria in the soil. Just eat root noduled soil. But I was still considering B12 an actual vitamin. I was considering it an actual vitamin that was something that actually existed. That's how strong and how hard the lie got me. So it got me to the point where the second time reading the book, it all just kind of came clear. So let's touch on this first tonight. First off, B12 is a lie. It has never existed. It is a unicorn. It is a toothless paper tiger that need not ever exist or have existed, and only exists within the four walls of a big pharma lab. Okay, it's called B12 because they named it B12. I could literally find unicorn poop, get some scientists and PhDs, charge them with some work to do some sign-offs and stuff like that, and I could name that UC17. Unicorn poop is the underlying bacteria. We're going to put some cobalt, some cyanide, other shit in there. We're just going to call it UC17. And guess what? Now it exists because we've supplanted it into the public's heads that it actually is a thing that exists. And it's the same fucking thing with vitamin B12. I'm happy to tell you guys, it's all a lie. So we're going to talk about cyanobacteria and the actual pill and how things got conflated. And they were actually conflated on purpose, deliberately, by some bad actors that had some money to be made, off of this whole confusion. Survivor in the house, nice to see you. Jesus Christ exists. Jesus Christ, we love Jesus Christ here. If you followed my channel, we definitely. Jesus was vegan, which was a beautiful thing. Jesus was a vegan. He was a compassionate soul and an enlightened soul, which we were very grateful to still have his wise teachings available to us today. But you kind of got to look through some of the bastardized institutional doings, unfortunately. Jesus don't take B12, but he was vegan, yep, and he never took B12. Nobody's taken B12 as far as how the fake narrative has built it up and propped it up. It's never existed, it's fake. Now, we've put a certain pill into our body that contains cobalt, cyanide, and a mystery bacteria. Yeah, people have done that. They've eaten the fortified version of, God, please don't give that shit to your kids. They've gone around eating meat and cheese and milk and eggs and been told that B12's in that. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Oh no, my friend, Jesus was a vegan. The question is, and you have to ask yourself, was Jesus compassionate? And I'll let you answer that for yourself. And right there, you can follow suit to your answer. Jesus was the absolute of compassion. And if you don't think he was, you don't truly follow Jesus. Everybody watched Christspiracy, where Cameron Waters, the legendary filmmaker, the absolute legend of communicating Jesus' actual message, tells everybody and educates them on who Jesus really was and what he spoke about, who his followers were and what his true message was. And that was compassion, and that was seeing truths, and that was living with a greater vision of things, kind of seeing above things. B12, it actually, you can call it B12 because they named it B12, but the only thing that's B12 is cyanide, cobalt, and mystery bacteria coupled into a little pill by a plethora of different pharma firms in order to make money. It's never existed in the soil. Tonight, we get to start on chapter 18. Thank you all for being here. Chapter 18, the title is Mystery Solved, the B12 legume connection, cyanobacteria versus cyanocobalamin. Okay, so I'm going to start off and read a little bit here, and we're going to get into it. But this is the chapter, pay attention everybody, to where we're going to completely expose what happened as far as the whole, it's in the soil, and then all of a sudden it's not in the soil. That whole bullshit that even I myself was saying on the street when I was, back before April, when I was active back then. All right. If one didn't ponder upon it for too long, it might even sound somewhat logical that vitamin B12 has been totally sucked out of the soil by modern agriculture. As we're all told, that this would only make sense if B12 were some extraordinary antisocial bacteria that occupied the dirt all by its lonesome, or if all the other bacteria had gone AWOL along with it. And this is not the case at all. Even in today's depleted and chemical-laden soil, there's still a plethora of thriving, beneficial bacteria, all working together productively with seed, sun, and water, and oftentimes symbiotically with each other. So even with all the chemicals and all this stuff that's infiltrated our soils, the bacteria still thrives, all of them. One just has to ask, why would plants grown in this same depleted and challenged soil somehow be able to absorb all other vitamins and minerals to still have access to all the other beneficial bacteria and essential nutrients, while B12 is nowhere to be found, apparently having booked itself a one-way flight to Mars? You gotta love her sense of humor. I'm telling you, the book is filled with a great hewing of humor as well. So you guys have something to look forward to there. An article published September 3rd, 2018 under Plant Cell Reports on SpringerLink entitled Plant Growth, Promoting Bacteria, Role in Soil Improvement, emphasizes the abundance of bacteria in soil. Bacteria are the most abundant and ecologically most significant organisms in soil, which may either exist as free-living or symbiotic and beneficial or harmful to host plants. So it's still ubiquitous. All bacteria are still ubiquitously and richly, abundantly found in the soil. All of them. But apparently the narrative says that somehow B12 got a little shy and said, you know what, guys, I gotta get out of here. This is, I'm going B12 like introverted. I'm going bacteria introverted. I've got bacteria anxiety. I need to leave. I'm going to go hermit out, recluse out somewhere. Apparently this just magically happened. Or so the narratives say. Okay. It then lists, I guess the article here, then lists some of the bacteria groups and their functions. Free-living soil bacteria beneficial to plant growth, usually referred to as plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, PGPR, are capable of promoting plant growth by colonizing the plant root. PGPR are also termed plant health promoting rhizobacteria, or nodule promoting rhizobacteria, NPR. Generally, PGPR function in three different ways: synthesizing particular compounds for the plants, facilitating the uptake of certain nutrients from the soil, and lessening or preventing the plants from diseases. It goes on to describe some of the multitude of beneficial bacteria that can be found living in the soil. Symbiotic nitrogen-fixing bacteria, including the cyanobacteria of the genera Rhizobium, Bradyrhizobium, Azorhizobium, Elorhizobium, Cynorhizobium, and Mesorhizobium, free-living nitrogen-fixing bacteria or associative nitrogen fixers, for example, bacteria belonging to the species Azospirillum, Enterobacter, Klebsiella, and Pseudomonas have been shown to attach to the root and efficiently colonize root surfaces. PGPR have the potential to contribute to sustainable plant growth promotion. With such a huge network of bacteria also hard at work, busily attaching to the root nodules of plants grown for consumption whilst providing essential nutrients, how come only poor Mr. B12 got the shaft? He's glaringly absent from this illustrious and industrious group of soil colonies. So everything is perfect. It still works perfect. The chemicals have infiltrated the soil, but as per these 2017, 2018 readings on beneficial bacteria, it's all vibrant and abundant and still ubiquitous in the soil. Now, everybody listen up. Here comes the big one. First of all, we got Carrie in here. What's going on? Nice to see you, Carrie. Clara! Nice to see you, Clara. Where's my buddy Ryan at? Where's that vegan guy Rye at, man? Vegan guy Rye, he was funny. I was doing the B12 last Saturday, and I guess he was feeling antisocial because someone kept giving me hearts and the kazoos and the party stuff. And I said, who's giving me all those hearts? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's me, Ryan, vegan guy, Ryan. It's me. Okay, now you're saying hi like that. It was funny. It was funny. He was probably just listening peripherally. Cool. All right, so here we go. Big part here, guys. Big part. We're going to talk about Margaret O'Burton, who is obviously paid big money to do some studies on the soil. Oh, wait for it. Okay, here we go. But in a study published on September 1st, 1952 by Margaret O'Burton and H.G. Lockheed entitled The Production of Vitamin B12 by Rhizobium Species, it was announced that one of the above-mentioned genera of bacteria that attaches to plant roots was found to produce what their paper referred to as vitamin B12. It stated that Rhizobium melilodi was sharply distinguished from the other species by its ability to produce significantly higher quantities of the vitamin. Now wait for it. However, a certain procedure had to be implemented in order for this to occur. A solution, here comes the intervention, a solution of cobalt chloride, a dissolvable salt made from cobalt and chlorine, was added to said bacteria, transforming it into the recognizable synthetic hexahydrate form of the vitamin B12/red crystalline compound, and turning it the familiar pinkish, reddish, brown color that we've all grown to love so much. Just kidding. What this means is that vitamin B12 had to be artificially created in a lab by adding cobalt and chlorine to the Rhizobium bacteria found attached to the roots of plants. And what this study inadvertently revealed was that since this red crystalline compound required the addition of chemicals to make it recognizable, there is nothing natural about vitamin B12. It has only ever existed. It has only ever existed in synthetic form after it has been created in a laboratory. Wow. So they looked at it and they said, this looks like the vitamin B12 we've been talking about. This looks like the natural soil B12. So let's attach our effed up little contraption to it. In this case, it was cobalt and chlorine to give it that red crystalline signature look, and then re-lament that this is indeed B12. Do you see the deception, everybody? Are you seeing the lies? Are you seeing how nefarious, how just money-driven and greed and gluttony-driven this is? This is all about money. I mean, it doesn't take much to see. It's all about money. Anyway, did we have to delete someone? Okay, we had a bad actor in here. All right, get him out. And there's been so many people just trolling, just meat eater trolls in here too. It's like, what are you doing? And the last guy just going off about Jesus. My gosh. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and she goes on and talks about cobalt chloride and how hazardous it really is, what they actually added to the Rhizobium bacteria. Below this paragraph, she laments, with all these risks and dangers lurking in a vitamin supplement, you really have to wonder, wouldn't it be a whole lot smarter and safer just to eat the plants containing the Rhizobium bacteria? That's it. And that's it. And I was so deceived by the lie that after I read the book the first time, I was telling people, just eat the beans, legumes. And I was right along those lines in retrospect, but I still wasn't clear that vitamin B12 was completely fake, made up in a lie. It was completely fake, made up in a lie. I kept calling it like it was fact, like 2 + 2 was 4, like the sky is blue. I still had it cemented in my head that B12 was an actual bacteria, and in this case, it's really the cyanobacteria. But it's not. It's not. It's only existed in a lab. That's it. It's in a lab. Cyanobacteria is cyanobacteria, and you can get beneficial bacteria from legumes. All right, let's move on here. How you guys doing? Thanks everybody for being here. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. And we're going to, keep on going here. We're going to keep doing this until we're finished with the book. And then I'll have a nice, neat package I'm going to polish up. I'm going to title them all appropriately, and I'm going to package them into my playlists as the fake B12 Fridays. Right now it's kind of messy organization-wise, but I'm going to polish it up when we're all finished here. Nice little package to point people to. And I think that'll be great. So thanks, guys. Little intermission here. Thanks, guys, for being here. Bye, Carrie. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Soy sauce says, so are you just a vegan teacher? I mean, in a sense, yes. Am I affiliated with that vegan teacher? No, not at all. Bye, Carrie. Take care. Nice to see you here. Much love. Yeah, I actually messaged Mr. Jordan from the Vegan Campout about a month ago, and I said, why don't you invite me to Vegan Campout? Get me on stage. I can talk in front of people. I get a theater background, man. Crowds, nothing. I'll talk to a bunch of people. We'll inspire people to go vegan. We'll inspire people to go active. We'll inspire people to stop paying homage to the lies that only hurt the animals. No response from them. Zero. No response at all. Oh, wow. Soy sauce, well, thank you for your contribution. I appreciate that. And soy sauce says, I'm a strict vegan. Oh, I'm a strict anti-vegan. Okay, convince me. All right. It's going to be tough for me to distill that to you in a matter of moments. I'm kind of on a topic here, but I'll quickly intercept a little bit here. I've been vegan 13 years, my friend. I don't eat meat or cheese or milk or eggs, seafood or honey. You need absolutely nothing from a non-vegan diet that you can't get on a vegan diet. The vegan diet provides everything. Plus, you don't eat all that plaque-promoting cholesterol, all the heterocyclic all the crap, right? But the biggest thing that eclipses anything nutrition-wise is if you consider yourself a guardian of sorts, or I'll leapfrog a bit here. If you're against animal abuse in general and you're not vegan, then it's absolutely hypocritical to not be vegan. What happens behind the veil of animal agriculture is beyond abuse. It's not abuse. It's way beyond abuse. It's torture, it's rape, it's killing, it's blood, it's guts, it's murder, it's taking time horizons away from little babies, it's killing babies, it's killing toddlers. And if you are a guardian at heart, if you have a guardian's heart, if you consider yourself a person of ethos and of moral fiber, and you're against animal abuse, my friend, you're vegan. You are vegan, and that's a full stop. There's nothing there to talk about. Nothing to talk about. I really appreciate you, though. Thank you for the energy you bestowed. Everything that I get here essentially goes towards vegan activism and getting out there. We're out there once a week. And what I guess mentioned to you, that's what I talk to about the public. The first question that someone now that I talk to in public gets is, are you for or against animal abuse? Everybody says they're against animal abuse. And I ask them, would you consider yourself a guardian or a bully? Everybody says guardian. I ask them, what do you need from an animal? What do you need from an animal that you can't get on a vegan diet? Everybody says protein. Everybody says protein. I'm thinking about making a documentary on protein, like a legit documentary with the resources that I have, maybe a little voiceover, some videos. I don't know, guys. What do you think? But that way, when people say protein, I can just immediately point them to the documentary I have on protein. It's going through my head. There's some musings there. Well, somebody asked a question, Mike. That's all. All right, so that last one was a hard hitter, and we're gonna probably make some shorts out of that one uh, and launch them full scale, and really just get the word out on how B12 from the soil and the whole pill, how that whole conflation has caused a lot of confusion and a lot of deception. Yeah, soy sauce. It's all about it's what it comes down to is um, it really is an intuitive guiding. I can never tell you, hey, be vegan, and you're just going to be vegan right there and then. It's not going to happen. It's kind of an intuitive guiding, right? Um, but once you know better, like if you know that we don't need anything from an animal, you might look online, you might see a lot of just science that says, yeah, you need stuff from an animal. You got to have this, you got to have that, you got to have the protein. You'll hear things called K2 and D3. You're going to hear B12. But if you don't look at any furnished information and just look into your heart will guide you, and your body knows that it needs nothing from an animal and nothing outside of plants. It doesn't need a pill. It doesn't need a supplement. Once you know this, and there's an ethical kind of guiding to vegan. It's just like a pull. You don't really need to will yourself to do it. It's kind of a pull, which is a beautiful thing. It's compassion. Is what it comes down to, is compassion. Okay, soy sauce. And I get it. I was not vegan for the longest time. I get it. Trust me. I used to call vegans, mention that they were in a cult. I used to say that. But it's not a cult. If you really tilt your perspective a little bit, you'll see that following the meat, cheese, milk, and eggs narratives, that's more of a cult, because it's been that is dogma that has been built out by and shored up and full sended by industry, and everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid. I'd call that the cult, or the Flavor Aid. This is an objective truth. Any vegan, the healthiest possible one, the person could be stronger and healthier if they did eat meat. No, it's not. It's not truth, dude. It's just stupidity. You're just saying words. You're just saying words. Science is undeniable. Okay, let me ask you a question, soy sauce. What is the primary to all science? What's the primary? What comes before any science is done? See if you can answer that question. And we got to get back to the reading. And Hamza coming in with some wise words. Not facts, no. Money, baby, it's money. So all scientists are sensitive to the funding. All scientists are always sensitive to the funding. So when money's involved, my friend, all bets are off. Now let me articulate something real quick. And I did this in one of my previous shorts. I'm not denying a physical body. I'm not denying anatomy and physiology. I'm not even denying the study of anatomy and physiology. And I'm not denying math. 2 + 2 = 4, right? What we're denying is material intervention-based science. When interventions get involved, because that's when patents get involved, money flows get in the limelight, equity starts getting talked about. That's when we start charging PhDs to sign things. That's when we start charging scientists to sign things, all in the spirit of money. So I hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. All right, we're going to move on. And that's what this whole thing is about, too. You can stay and learn about vitamin B12 and how it's a lie, soy sauce, if you like. You're more than welcome to. All right, so we learned about the confusion with the cyanobacteria and B12, or the vitamin B12. We learned about how bad cobalt chloride is for you. And yeah, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. So these helpful bacteria specifically facilitate the uptake of nutrients from the soil, the bacteria we spoke of, which then gets absorbed directly into the plant's roots. With those plants, they primarily attach to being legumes. It certainly doesn't come from the sources of meat, dairy, and eggs, as claimed by those who refer to animal products as containing the true B12. but based off an actual plant that vegans commonly consume, beans. And the way in which these bacteria provide nitrogen to the leguminous crops actually improves yield and soil fertility. So this begs the question. Since this genera of Rhizobium cyanobacteria is still found thriving in the soil today, nestled snugly within the roots of all legume plants, what's all this talk about this so-called B12 bacteria no longer being in the soil? This here is the authentic OG bacteria found abundantly in nature that the false lab-created substance known as vitamin B12 has stolen and plagiarized and taken its entire identity from. It must also be noted, and this is also a big one, guys. It must also be noted that the Rhizobium are referred to as cyanobacteria, and that the main supplement form sold as vitamin B12 is called cyanocobalamin. But although the prefixes are identical, they mean two entirely different things. So this is how divisive, this is how creative they get, right? Cyanobacteria is described as any of the major group of photosynthetic bacteria that are single-celled, but often form colonies in the form of filaments, sheets, or spheres, and are found in diverse environments such as salt and freshwater soils and on rocks. In other words, natural and occurring in nature, cyanobacteria. In stark contrast, the term cyanocobalamin is described as a synthetic form of vitamin B12 that's not found in nature. Contains a cyanide molecule in the metallic ion cobalt. In other words, man-made chemicals. It is a crystallizable cobalt complex with the name cyanocobalamin being derived from the cyanide group attached to the molecule. Chemically, it belongs to a class called coronoids. And so the prefix of cyano in cyanocobalamin was specifically chosen in order to give the illusion that it was of the same natural molecular structure as cyanobacteria, when it actually is referring to its ingredient, cyanide. You're eating cyanide. And there's a world of difference between the two. Compared to an organism that exists naturally in the soil, water, or on rocks, a cyanocobalamin supplement is basically a synthetic combination of cyanide and cobalt, made in a drug lab and advertised as a vitamin. And we have a scam, everybody. We have a devious, nefarious scam. So when you see cyanocobalamin on the back of a B12 pill, the cyano is not from any bacteria that happens to be in there, but by design they want you to think that. It has to do with the cyanide that's actually in there. Doesn't this make you angry? Like, anybody watching this that people ask me, like, why are you so adamant about this whole B12 thing? I mean, just let people, do whatever. No, we're not going to be quiet. And a big one is for right here. Hurts animals. What's the main reason we're vegan? It's for the animals. Soy sauce, there you go. That's our main reason why we're vegan. We're not here to cater to industry. We are here for the animals. And B12 hurts the animals. Animals don't have a voice. They can't speak up. They can't say, hey, I don't like vivisection. Hey, don't put me into the vivisection. They can't say, hey, you're making the vegan diet look weak by telling people they have to eat the B12. Protect us. They can't say that. Vegans have to say that. Vegans that see over the bullshit that is the whole disgusting lie of vitamin B12. And that's why we're calling on all actual vegans to see over this. And a lot of them are. A beautiful thing. Many people are seeing this and rejecting this whole thing. So thank you. And the animals, thank you too. But if you're in that tribal echo chamber where everybody's just slapping each other on the back saying, good job, yeah, make fun of the B12 rejector, shame on you. Shame on you for not stepping into the next realm of truth for them. Because it's all about them. It's about them. Not you, not your ego, not your tribal little echo chamber. It's about them. Thank you. So that's the gist of the chapter here. we're going to move on to the next chapter. What's my time frame at it? We got time, right? Sorry, something just popped up. Can't see the time. Okay, yeah, we're good. Oh yeah, let's read this at the end real quick. Oh yeah, and there's a whole thing about duckweed. How duckweed has been said to have vitamin B12, and this is bullshit. It doesn't have B12. It has the beneficial bacteria. It doesn't have B12 is not a thing. It doesn't exist. But there's been a few YouTubers that have made videos on duckweed and how duckweed and seaweed, you can actually get good absorbable B12 from them. No, stop saying B12. You can get good bacteria from them. Good cyano or not, but whatever the bacteria is that is correlated to the duckweed and the seaweed, the beneficial bacteria. You can get that. You don't get B12. B12 doesn't exist. So that was another thing to touch on here. They just love saying it. They love saying the words. Okay, the next chapter. Oh, another thing to point out. One of the last paragraphs states, so once again, we're back to the official statement that only meat, dairy, and eggs contain and provide real vitamin B12, when the irony is that nothing about vitamin B12 is real. The truth is that the wholly manufactured concept of vitamin B12/cobalamin was based upon the cyanobacteria that clings to the roots of all legume plants. Plain and simple. The fact that it was initially created using the bacteria from raw cow liver and then from feces floating in sewage just makes the lie that much more disgusting. The entire scheme from start to finish was nothing short of pure diabolical marketing, with vegans being targeted as both the funding source and the butt of a cruel joke that involved massive deceit and a campaign of fear-mongering. As it turns out, the so-called real B12 is actually just beneficial rhizobium bacteria clinging to the roots of legumes in the dirt. For crying out loud! And to think that this elusive critter known as vitamin B12 has been there all along, hiding inside the cupboard with the lentils, peas, and beans behind the skirt roots of all those legume plants. So you can get beneficial bacteria from eating beans and lentils and peas. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, Gregor loves the feces. Gregor is just a sick fanatic. I wanted to use a different word there, but I mean, this man is nuts. He's nuts. Ahimsa says duckweed is not good tasting, not very appealing in its natural state. They sell all the time at markets in Asia. Oh, interesting. I guess it's more kind of just it's just more there. It's grown more there. I don't think I've ever seen it for sale here. I guess I'm just not looking in the right area. I wouldn't even know what it tasted like. So chapter 19 is going to be vitamin B12 hits the big time. Follow the money trail. And we're going to talk about all the guys that benefit from B12 sales. We're going to go over all those guys. And we're going to talk about the aggregated year-over-year return. Big number, big number. We're going to talk about context, why it's important. But yeah, so yeah, guys, awesome. But little intermission here again. Why not? I'll be out doing street activism tomorrow night, and I'm hoping to get some daytime activisms in. I think one of the reasons, and I think Dominion, you were precise, or you were right on this. That sometimes I don't get big crowds because I'm doing the live streams late at night. It's literally 3 a.m. in Europe, and it's late on the East Coast, and still a little later on the West Coast. I'm hoping to get some earlier ones in soon, where I can get out during the day, do some daylight activism, and hit a different crowd. But tomorrow night I'll be out again, 10:30, maybe earlier. Actually, if you guys are going to come, just pay. I mean, I know I've not been on time lately. I've been earlier. I've been late. It might be one of those tomorrow. It'll be kind of fluid. So it could be as early as 9. It could be as late as 10:30. But yeah, we'll definitely be out there, and hopefully for the full hour this time, so I can get mucho more conversations. But last time we had one solid conversation, And then we had the guy that was a bit about in his own world, which was a little unsettling. Remember when I said, nice guy? Remember that? Trust me, I didn't mean it. It was kind of just to be a little cordial with, they were all kind of still in earshot. And yeah, this man had problems. Oh my God. This man, I don't know, that man needs to be in prison. Hey, all sunshine, a little sunshine. Let's go. Nice to see you. How you been? Nice to see you, a little sunshine. It's been a while. Been a while. We've had a few more interviews with Will. I don't know if you've seen it, but we did one on intuition, the 7 deadly psyops, creativity. Yeah, so I think I know what our next one's going to be on, but I don't know for sure yet, so I don't want to say it. But it's going to be around a month from now, so it should be fun. Nice to see you. All right, chapter 19, B12. Vitamin B12 hits the big time. Follow the money trail. All right. You should be fairly convinced by now, aside from the fact that it really only exists in a drug lab, vitamin B12 is a peculiar little bugger in many ways. You'd be hard-pressed to find just one thing that makes sense about it. Not only is it the only B-complex vitamin not found in any plant, but the only nutrient no longer found in any clump of dirt, and the only beneficial bacteria not accessible in any human intestine. It is the only supplement that utilizes total fear to sell. Fear of deficiency, fear of getting ill on a plant-based diet, fear of becoming vegan, fear of running out of supplements when you're down to the last pill in the bottle. I myself subject to this and was subjected to this when I was taking B12. Okay? So that's another reason why I'm fucking mad. You know, the same reason I'm mad that I was eating meat, cheese, milk, and eggs, and seafood and honey for 30 years. You know, I'll tell you, we should be infuriated by this. Absolutely infuriated. Whenever there's confusion, fear-mongering in a story that constantly keeps changing, you can be sure of one thing. Something is being deliberately covered up. And along with all the disinformation and propaganda and outright lies, there's an underlying agenda designed to financially benefit a select group of people. We're going to talk about those people in a little bit. Vitamin B12 supplements are now considered so critical to health of the population that the government hands out financial aid to those who sell it. Subsidizing. That's right, just like all the heavily subsidized animal agriculture industries, B12 is right up there with all the billions of dollars thrown at the dairy industry in bailouts. According to an article entitled Vitamin B12, Market Insights, Opportunities and Forecasts by 2027, Chidami Ariwar, probably butchered their name, the government also provides financial aids and works towards the development and promotion of vitamin B12 products that affect the market dynamics. Ooh! So not only do B12 merchants receive government funding, but they're given help in promoting their product to keep it top of mind. So there was a big opportunity that started in the COVID era. We're going to dig into that right now. We'll finish this up. The government's powerful mainstream media connections ensure B12 remains in the public eye as an indispensable commodity, keeping that propaganda flowing and the fear of deficiency alive and kicking. Okay, here we go. Big opportunity came in 2020. The same article reported that the panic over COVID-19 resulted in an increase in the demand for vitamin B12 products across several sectors, primarily the health and pharmaceutical sector. The reason given was that it created many opportunities for the new players and small-scale players to mark their presence in the regional market and offered low-cost prices and high-quality products to the end users. All in all, there was a significant surge in demand for vitamin B12 products that have been seen across the globe, which has positively impacted the B12 market value in 2020 and subsequent years. According to Market Intel Advisors' Global Vitamin B12 Market Analysis 2020 research report, quote, the demand for injected vitamin B12 is likely to upsurge, especially in emerging countries such as India, along with the rising prevalence of pernicious anemia among the people. Once again, we have the population of India being targeted because of their inadequate diet and lack of animal products. Naturally, this makes them susceptible to that old bugaboo, pernicious anemia, that relatively rare autoimmune disease that affects less than 1% of the population. And if you were with us for the first Fake B12 Fridays, we learned about the context of pernicious anemia. We learned about what it really is underneath everything. And yeah, we won't get into that now, but once again, if you want to learn about pernicious anemia and its historical context, get this book, The Enigma of Vitamin B12, Nature's Only Mistake, written by Anthony V. Hayes. This is where all this is coming from, this whole live stream. Which, of course, if you have this pernicious anemia, can only be treated with injections of our beautiful, vitamin B12 creation. The report also mentions that the oral form of cyanocobalamin B12 was now being commonly prescribed to pregnant women and nursing mothers to avoid spina bifida and other spinal and central nervous system birth defects in the baby. This is actually very concerning, as there has never been any valid study published that has proven that taking B12 supplements is in any way an effective preventative measure. In fact, it has even been shown to damage the baby when taken by pregnant women. So if you're pregnant and you're eating B12, you are effectively, possibly damaging your child. Research from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health has shown that excessive amounts of B12 during pregnancy can increase the risk of autism, a disorder a disorder related to brain development that affects social interaction and communication, indicating brain and neurological damage. The findings were presented on May 13th at the 2016 International Meeting for Autism Research in Baltimore. And it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it's crazy. You're putting cyanide and cobalt, bacteria that could be from sewer sludge, could be runoff from a dairy operation, could be, who knows, there could be feces in there. You're putting that into your body while you're pregnant. You're going to heighten the risk of something happening to your child. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And that's the reality of everything. It's absolute poison. Poison. Researchers analyzed data from 1,391 mother-child pairs in the Boston birth cohort and found that babies born to women with excessive levels of B12 and folic acid, B9, in their systems had a 17 times greater risk of autism. Babies born to women with folic acid levels 4 times the RDA of 400 micrograms or 1,600 micrograms, with a typical dosage sold of 1,000 to 1,700 micrograms, were twice as likely to be diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders. The risk that offspring would develop autism was tripled when the new mother was found to have a very high vitamin B12 level. Yikes. Yikes. The report then states that during the COVID era, the demand of vitamin B12 escalated in medical treatment in 2020 and was used by the medical professional to boost immunity of the patient, enabling their body to fight the virus. Yikes. What helped increase B12's popularity and the need for it in the medical treatment during that period was the growing prevalence of the symptoms among people such as depression, disturbed vision, pernicious anemia. All these factors were projected to accelerate the demand for vitamin B12 in the forecast years. Because remember, the whole B12 appeal casts a broad net. You have depression or disturbed vision or wait, whatever you got. There's a myriad of different things that or symptoms that are pointing you to tell you that you need to take B12. You get a little numbness, you get some tingling, we're getting confusion, all these symptoms. Don't worry, it's gotta be B12. There's actually a book called Could It Be B12? And in the book, they go over all these symptoms and frame them as fact. That's how scary this thing is. Like, they're published books by just bad actors, just with deceitful, deceptive lies, filling them up to just concrete this whole narrative. Okay. So B12 at this point in the COVID era, after the COVID era, has now been found to be a magical cure-all, and it's being subsidized by the government. It's giving opportunities to drug companies to make some money. So not only had B12 apparently become the new Prozac cure-all for the mind and prescribed as preventative for birth defects, no less, but it had officially entered the mega lucrative pharmaceutical sector as a cure for not just serious disease, but actual plagues. I think we're talking about COVID here. For the first time ever, a nutritional supplement was being touted as a line of treatment for what was alleged by medical authorities to be the deadliest plague ever to hit the planet. So deadly, the entire global population had to be locked down. And oddly enough, the tactics used to spread fear about vitamin B12 deficiency were very similar to the ones used to promote fear over catching the virus. Wow. Yikes. It was clear that our own little darling B12 had somehow become a megastar. This really was B12's next step up into the limelight. And, she was flourishing, and she really thrived in that post-2020 area here. Still is thriving. Far surpassing the piddling deficient vegan niche. Oh, now it's all bets are off. You got this? B12. You got that? B12. Oh, wait. You lost your wallet yesterday? That's a B12 deficiency. You're guilty, right? You're feeling guilty? That's B12 deficiency. Yeah. You tripped. You probably just weren't looking. But you're tingling and confusion. B12 deficiency. In 2019, just prior to the announcement of COVID-19, North America held the largest share in the vitamin B12 market, followed by the Asia Pacific and Europe. Asia Pacific was expected to project the highest CAGR, for those that don't know, compounded annual growth rate, big finance term, owing to a rise in the number of pharmaceutical stores in the region. Per the Global Info Research site, as of August 24, 2023, the global vitamin B12 market size is expected to reach $575 million by 2029, rising to market growth of 4.3% CAGR during the forecast period. Woo! Great investment. 4.3%? Fantastic. I'm sure there's a lot of private equity investments in there as well. Right in the coattails of these companies, and we're going to learn about them in a little bit. And just who are these vitamin B12 peddlers? So who's behind the curtain? Who's making the money off of this little thing that all of our vegan friends are so ferociously defending? Who is laughing at them defending this little pill to the bank? They're literally laughing to the bank while vegans throw the animals under the bus for the sake of the tribal echo chamber, which we don't want to be rejected from. So it's ego. It all comes down to ego. And we can't look at them before our own ego. Why are we doing this, guys? Any vegans in here? We're doing this for them. Okay, and just who are these vitamin B12 pill peddlers receiving funds and high visibility media promotion of their wares? You might recognize them as some of the top global pharmaceutical companies, with the key players being, guess number one. Guess who number one is? We know. It's Merck. Sanofi, Bayer, Endo Pharmaceuticals, Bristol Myers Squibb, Hebei, Hurong, I probably butchered the name of that one, Hebei Yufeng, Ningxia Kingvit Pharmaceutical Company Limited, Chempure, Jamieson Laboratories, and Now Health Group, BASF, Watson, Zenith Nutrition. Oh, the list keeps going, guys. And they are laughing at all the money they are making. So all that work they put in the 40s and the 60s, we're full sended. It's blue sky, a blue sky financial scenario here. It's all paid off. And the whole paradox is the biggest ones fighting to defend it are the ones that are supposed to be defending the animals. Us, vegans. Opportunity for us to put a nail in the coffin, for this Achilles heel of the vegan diet. But ego is too important. Ego eclipses all things. Ego, there are our own kind of a sense of self and detachment is really eclipsing all things here. It's just hurting them. It's hurting the little guys, you know? Um, yeah, and just to touch on that, I put not vegan. B12 is not vegan, and let's talk about why. If you didn't see my short from a few months ago, a little break to say, hey, if you're here, you're listening, and you're vegan, I get it. I believed in B12 for the longest time, but now with new frontiers opening up and new information pathways that are now available to us of sound information, not sponsored information, we really should do what's best for the animals and for our health. So just a little something there. So I'm glad you're here. If you're listening, you haven't said anything. But if you do have a question, let me know. I was in the same exact boat, just like I ate meat, cheese, milk, and eggs for 30 years. And I even called the vegans, said they were in a cult before I went vegan. So I get inertia. I get the kind of build out of inertia and how effective it can be against somebody's deeper seeings, okay? But it's not vegan. B12 is not vegan. You cannot call yourself a vegan if you're eating B12. You can't do it. You can't do it. So when you're eating B12, you're doing one thing. You're doing, number one, you're saying that a vegan diet is not strong. That is not nice to do to the animals because they need us to be saying that a vegan diet is perfect. They need to be protected. They need the vegan diet painted as something that is solid rock. Number two, you're shoring up systems of vivisection. You are literally supporting vivisection. I don't know, I'm sure you guys know what it is, but it's torturing bunnies and rabbits and pigs, all for the sake of science, intervention-based science, material science, science enterprise, the money of science, the business of science. Number three, you're putting cyanide and cobalt and mystery bacteria into your body, and some of that could have even come from dairy runoff. That's technically not vegan, and you're putting that into your body. So those are the three big reasons why vitamin B12 is not vegan. And there's more. I could actually probably keep going. Telling others to do it and amplifying the whole non-vegan motion, that's another one. You know, these people telling everybody to eat B12, that's like you are now as bad as a carnivore. You are now just as bad. And dairy and feces aren't vegan either. The feces are probably from a cow. That's not vegan either. And the dairy runoff, that's not vegan either. Great point, Dominion. Great point. Yeah, because in the bacteria, what's attributed to the bacteria that relies in the pill with the cobalt and the cyanide is a runoff from dairy operations. It's called dairy runoff, dairy operation runoff. And that gets into the pill. That's one of their sourcings of B12. So it's crazy. But we just went through a list of all the people that benefit from the sales of vitamin B12. And then she goes into the companies and what else they do. I'll read one of the paragraphs. Basically, when she's doing this, she's pointing to context. Because as the reader, you need context. As someone that's learning about something like this, context is absolutely 100% a must. Most of the people, all the people that are anti this message, that are pro B12, they don't know any of the context when I bring it up. None of it. Zero. Zilch. They just defend what they've been told it is, but they don't know who these people are. Not 10 out of 10 people that are in the pro B12 camp, they don't know who Carl Folkers is. They don't know who Margaret Burton is. They don't know who Edward Ricks is. They don't know who Edward Bernays is. We're going to learn more about him and his kind of inspirational ways that were adopted by the B12 bad actors as well. But context, we have to know about context. I mean, it's just important, and it's filled throughout the book here. The context is everywhere. So not only do you get a compiled history of things, but some context to help you read tea leaves and use your own intuition to decide what is a lie and what is truth. So let's see here. So, yeah, she starts talking about Merck. Merck's portfolio also includes the children's MMR and varicella vaccine. Contains neomycin. Other ingredients include bovine calf serum, albumin, and recombinant human serum albumin. So Merck, very non-vegan. They're harvesting stuff from animals, using stuff from harvested animals. They want to jab you. They want to jab your kids. They want to put needles in you. I mean, is that nice? Merck has also entered the viral gene therapy manufacturing field. The highly controversial technology utilizes transfection regions that allow host cells to be infected and the genetic makeup to be modified. They've just signed an agreement to acquire Mirus Bio, a subsidiary of Gamma Biosciences, for $600 million. And remember, Merck is weighted at around $200 billion in market cap. Not a small company. I mean, come on, guys, read the tea leaves more. I mean, these are all mega wealth entities that are propagating this fake narrative. They've also acquired mRNA manufacturers Amptex, Germany-based platform to crank out vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics, including those for COVID-19. So she gives you context on all these companies, what else they're doing, how they're using non-vegan entities to make their products, how they're being very non-vegan, how they're being malevolent, and how they're being predatory. And you get context on all these B12 producers so you can read the tea leaves and see what else they're into, to see if that's something that you want to subscribe your autonomy to, your truth magnet to. So context is very important. JDB says, are you saying B12 is a lie, as in it doesn't exist? Exactly. And it's a full stop fact. It actually is true. B12 does not exist. And thank you for being here. You're a new face in here. It actually doesn't exist. So you never have to worry about any doctor telling you need B12. It's all good. Before I knew better, I was a little confused myself. But what you got to do, this book right here, it's called The Enigma of Vitamin B12, Nature's Only Mistake, written by Anthea V. Hayes. And it will point to you and give you all the information you need to just see it as a disgusting lie, and it'll get you angry too. But it's also an entertaining read, an enigmatic read. It's engaging. I work in a hospital. What am I putting into IV bags? It's not good. It's not good. But that's the system. I mean, unfortunately, I guess you're forced to do that if that's your job. But they're putting into IV bags cyanide, cobalt, and mystery bacteria, all built out from the fake narrative that is vitamin B12 that had its genesis back in the 1940s. So these live streams are just about educating everybody on how we need to boycott the living hell out of it, how we need to guide people not to take it, not to hurt your kids, not to hurt your family, not to hurt yourself, and also not to hurt the animals. So unfortunately, the system is, it's ubiquitous in hospitals. Sorry you have to work with it. Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, check out the book. You can get it on Amazon. Get the paperback, get the Kindle, learn about it. And so further on in the chapter, we go more into the different contexts of all those different B12 peddlers, so you can see what they're doing, how they're making money, what else they're affiliating themselves with, and if it's something you want to attribute you want to back, something you want to believe in. So she gives you a lot of context throughout the entire book, which is super necessary. You get some people have said, well, why doesn't she have any studies in the book? Why aren't there any studies that lament and back up to your claim that B12 is fake? And that's where we take a beat, we take a breath, we back up, and we realize that the studies, the research, the science enterprise all has a primary. Primary is money. Primary is funding. All scientists are sensitive to the funding. So you will never find studies. They do not exist because there's no economical behoovement underneath them that lament the truth that this book reveals. So, yeah, but what she does provide is something necessary when finding any truth, and that is context in history, actual history. You can verify all this online. Anything in the book, you can verify it online. The dates, the people, the times, the places, you name it. And then she gives you context. So, Yeah, no one would fund that study. Exactly. No, nobody would fund it. People are, people. It's all about the money. You know, people think, oh, scientists, they're just so ethical. No, they're not. Are scientists all vegan? Are they all like just default ethical vegans by default? Hell no. They're going with the money. Vegan is just not in bare minimum. They're definitely not vegan. Um, they're not. And vegans are defending scientists. Like it's like they're somehow have some kind of parallel ethos. No, they don't. What's wrong with you? Stop. You know, it, Once again, it's just hurting these guys. But that pretty much finishes up the chapter. I'll read the last paragraph. Unfortunately, getting rid of this powerfully pervasive and omnipresent pharma and animal ag beast won't be as simple as a matter of burning the neck using sword and fire. First, you have to reach the millions of consumers who are terrified of falling prey to the dreaded B12 deficiency. However, convincing them to acknowledge and accept the fact that they've been hoodwinked and lied to about literally everything pertaining to vitamin B12 is not going to be an easy sell. You might say they've been skillfully manipulated and hypnotized by some of the best psychopaths and PR folks in the business, which is going to lead us to the next chapter, which is going to be epic, where we talk about Edward Bernays, who reminds me of Nick Naylor from Thank You for Smoking. If anyone has seen Thank You for Smoking, just think Nick Naylor. This guy has got Nick Naylor written all over him, Mr. Edward Bernays. But basically, the people that created and built out the fake B12 narrative, they were inspired by Edward Bernays. They took his blueprint and they built out the lie. And, we don't like what happened. We don't like that we've all been tricked. We don't like that, what's happening at the animal's expense, but we have to hand it to them. They did a damn good job at it. And we're going to learn about how they took Edward Bernays' blueprint and rolled with that in chapter 20. And we're going to do chapter 21 next week too. I might rock out, since some of the later chapters are a little smaller. I might do 3 chapters, not next week, but the week after. And then we'll only have a few more of these left. And then we're going to polish it up into a nice little playlist. And we'll have it referenced to anybody that wants to reference it, which is great. But thank you all for coming. I see I got 14 likes. How epic is that? If you haven't subscribed, subscribe too. Just hop in. I do more than this. This is one of the pillars of the channel, is enlightening people to lies. We also do some workouts. We do animal rights activism. We're out there. We'll be out there tomorrow night asking people why they're not vegan yet. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Would you be mad if you found out your kids ate meat? Well, like Buddha's last words. The Buddha, before he passed away, said all conditioned forms are subject to decay, so strive with diligence. Do your best. All you can do is your best. I do have a daughter. She's vegan. She's been vegan since birth. There might be a day where she says, you know what? Maybe I want to eat meat. I'm going to say there's a 99% chance of that. I'm going to say 99.9% chance of that not happening because of, I don't know, good parenting. But if it does, and there's something that happens and she does, I can't control that. But my intuition tells me that's not going to happen. My kid knows what she sees when she walks by that aisle. She knows it was a dead body. She knows that it was a child. Its whole life was taken from it. She knows that eggs are the products of violence. She knows that milk is the product of rape. She knows all this stuff, I know I'm not going back from being vegan, knowing what I know, and I don't think she is either. But, yeah. Yeah. Cool, guys. All right. Well, 70 minutes. All right. We rocked it out tonight. And I even got a donation tonight. Thank you to Soy Sauce. Well, it's been fun. And, I'll be creating some content from here and launching this up into the YouTubeosphere. And we're just going to keep on being loud, baby. And we're going to keep on going until this truth is realized. And I just thank Anthea for writing this book. I always say her name wrong. Anthea. I thank Anthea for writing this book. and I'm just happy I can get it out to everybody. Thank you guys for being here for support, and thanks for listening. Oh, no problem, Jay. No problem. Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was a good one tonight. Tomorrow night, the weather's gonna be nicer. There's probably be a lot more people out. I'm in go mode lately, guys. I'm ready. I'm ready for this year. I'm ready for the street activism. I'm ready to get better. I'm ready to hopefully turn some people vegan. I have some other ideas, and I'll share them with you later. I'm looking forward to this year. So glad to have you guys along for the ride. Yeah. All right, guys. Okay, I'm taking off, and yeah, hit me up tomorrow night. Look between 9 and 10:30. That's when I'll probably be out there. Most likely, probably in the 10 area, but I'll probably be changing the in time from like 9 to 9:15, or maybe 9 to 10. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. Yeah, we'll see you soon. All right, guys. Carrie, nice to see you again. All right, take care. Everybody have a great vegan day, and yeah, enjoy everything. Let's stay vegan and be vessels of truth for them, right? For them. All right, guys. Take care. Bye, everybody.